Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Now, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umanah, has been busy solidifying his position as the leader of his new political party, the All Progressives Congress, in the state after his high-profile defection from the People's Democratic Party. Could this be another distraction from the onerous task of governing a state like Akwa Ibom, which is known to have so much economic pressure, despite Akwa Ibom State's massive economic potential, especially endowments in the oil and gas sector? Youth unemployment is still being recorded at 52%, and critically, the earning power of the average citizen of Akwa Ibom State still abysmally low. In what possible way can the governor's recent political moves help to lower these daunting statistics and shape the path towards the next general election? Well, joining us now from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, for this conversation is Aniekan Umanah, the Akwa Ibom State Commissioner for Information. Good to have you on the morning show. Thank you for joining us, Aniekan.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, OJ. I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. All right. Before we delve into the issues surrounding the governor's defection, I'd like to raise an issue which we had shared earlier. Last week, I believe we had a guest here talking about the issue of the 76 oil wells dispute with Cross River State, which appears to be resurfacing now despite the Supreme Court ruling. I think his name was Honorable Cletus Obum. He had claimed that, Cross River State remains a literal state despite that ruling, and he's seeking a political resolution. And we also know that Governor Basi Otu of Cross River is reportedly pushing for the restoration of these 76 seized oil wells. Now, what is your reaction to this, and what is the current status of this dispute from Akwa Ibom State's government's viewpoint? And are there any steps being taken to firmly reassert Akwa Ibom's legal claim to these wells?
Yeah, thank you so much, OJ, for bringing this up. Yeah, we've had pockets of conversations here and there over this, but this is a settled matter, OJ, and as you know, the Supreme Court had in July 2012 ruled on this matter and placed a permanent seal on this conversation, and that is the highest court in the country, in the nation. So for me, I don't think it's even a matter that we need to talk about at this point, because there's a Supreme Court ruling in a matter that Akwa Ibom did not even go take to court. So this is a sealed matter. I don't want to delve into a matter that has been ruled by the Supreme Court, settled and settled forever. I remember the landmark judgment was delivered by the Honorable Judge, the panel led by Honorable Justice Olufunola Adekeye, then in 2012 July. So it's a settled matter.
All right.
I'm glad that you go ahead.
You want to go?
Well, I wanted to follow up on the fact that it is a settled matter. Well, I mean, I think that you have put that your position to rest at this point, and so I guess we can move on to the conversation surrounding the defection, which is, naturally generated diverse reactions, including, concerns from political, ideas about the stability and democratic accountability. Now, how is your state government addressing these concerns of the governor's defection?
Oh, thank you, OJ, and Steve and Kachi. Thank you, all my brothers and sisters there in the studios. I think we had gone past the issue of defection. We had gone past the issue of defection in Akwa Ibom. Now we have brought His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umanah, PhD, has moved on, working closely with His Excellency, the Senate President, Dr. Godswill Akpabio, fusing the state together under what we call the Akwa Ibom United. And this fusion is on a single agenda called the Arise Agenda, which is the developmental imprimatur of the government of Akwa Ibom State under Pastor Umanah. So the Akwa Ibom United trajectory is what is playing out at the moment because the people are fused together. So we had gone off defection issues, we're back into the development of Akwa Ibom State. This fusion is bringing the kind of unity that is expected. Of course, like you saw, I'm sure a few days ago, the totality of the stakeholders in this state came together to give an affirmation to this united front of Akwa Ibom for the development of the state. So we have one movement called the Arise Agenda. We have one trajectory that is propelling the development of Akwa Ibom State called the Arise Agenda. So the official and premature today is the Arise Agenda. So the fusion is on.
All right. Thanks, Honorable Umanah. The Arise Agenda, how, and I get the point that you think that the issue of the oil wells is dead and buried, you know, in the way that your governor put it. But then using your mantra, the Arise Agenda, two things here. How does that work with your cousins in Cross River State when it comes to showing empathy? You said the word that you use is that there have been pockets of discussions, but the pockets of discussions to your cousins in Cross River will likely involve the president, Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is already involving the Senate president, you know, who is from your state. And the idea is that, yes, there was a legal and conclusive decision on the matter, but then for the whole idea of Arise Agenda to have meaning to your neighbors and to your cousins, they think that there might be the need to reconsider and have a political solution. Your governor is a pastor. I'm asking just one more time if you think that that case is dead and buried and it won't matter whether the Senate president or the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will ultimately be involved in a discussion that can have some political reconsideration for what has happened with the 76 oil wells in the name of empathy.
Yeah, Steve, I still maintain that the matter in which Akwa Ibom never went to court and was settled by the Supreme Court in 2012, July, has been settled. And that is where I stand on this conversation. So we can discuss other things.
Well, I hear you on saying that it has been settled. Excuse me. But when we had that guest come over, I recall asking him.
OG, that is what it is.
No,
when
I'm not OG,
Supreme Court
but
rules on a matter, just
no,
like
just
you
one
have seen
second.
in the various. Which, okay.
Just one second.
This is catchy.
Okay.
I hear you, Mr. Aniekan. I absolutely hear you on. It's okay.
All right, thank you, Kachi.
I hear you on saying that it is a settled issue, and I was just going to tell you that I recall a question I asked him, because we do understand this is a settled Supreme Court case. Like, you know, I asked him, your views on going back into this matter, are they based on empathy and based on a request asking for some level of sympathy to the people of Cross River State? Or is this based on some new empirical evidence that have been discovered? And he did say both, you know. So I don't know if you're aware of what some of the evidence might be that they may have discovered that may alter that decision. We do not know yet. But if you do, please do share. We would love to know about that. And then secondly, I want us to talk about your state. You know, there's so many different projects going on right now in Akwa Ibom. A lot under the Arise Agenda, as you've mentioned, a lot under the oil sector, energy infrastructure, and the likes. Even road infrastructure. And I wondered, you know, with all the projects that are going on, we still see critical issues amongst the people. The average person living in Akwa Ibom State, what is the state of their standard of living, for instance? How are they coping? How are they faring? What's the state of education? What's the state of health? You know, how would you say the projects that you so often come on the platform to talk about and highlight are directly affecting your people's standard of living, who we know are still living in a very, very critical state, very, very critical, way below what is a decent standard of living for any person?
Yes, Kachi, I'm not too sure you are talking about Akwa Ibom State because I don't know where you have those facts, those information from. Because Akwa Ibom people are not living in a very, very, very critical stage, like you put it. Yes, we're talking about development, talking about the Arise agenda. The impact of the socio-economic development of the state is being felt by the people. For instance, the intervention of the state in sustaining the free education program for every child of Akwa Ibom and so on is impacting the educational sector very deeply. So if children have access to free education, they have access to free books, they have access to new schools, and then the people have access to, okay, for instance, healthcare. And then the universal coverage that is going on in Akwa Ibom State right now, including the deployment of healthcare infrastructure across all local government and communities, and the deployment of the Arise Care program and the health insurance scheme that is making healthcare almost very accessible, and the elderly people's care. All of those are impacting on the people. That's it, that the crux of the Arise agenda. The social intervention and care for the people that Governor Umanah preaches. And that's what he's implementing. So when you say critically bad, I don't know, I'm not sure it's Akwa Ibom. I think we need to check where you're getting that from, because it's not this state that we are living in, this place that I am in. The people are happy with what is happening and what His Excellency Governor Umanah is doing for them. Even if you have to go sectors by sector, we can break this all down if you have time. So whoever is banding those information and so on should check where they are getting them from, because we have our own internal statistics, we have our own bureaus, and we have how to check our things. So we are not going to do what laborers call a feeding bottle approach to developmental issues. It's comprehensive and total in Akwa Ibom, and the people are happy for it. But obviously, I must also add the caveat. There's no way you can solve all the problems in one day. It continues. Government will continue to work and attend to the problems of the people. Whether it's infrastructure, at the key of the Rise agenda, you have agricultural development that is being developed and followed through very methodically and deeply. Of course, farm settlement, support to farmers, grants are given, and so on. The people benefiting from these grants are the people of Akwa Ibom State. Are those things given to impoverize them? No. To improve their living standards and conditions. You look at rural development interventions, roads are created everywhere, 770 kilometers as we speak, spreading through in different areas. That's helping access from rural areas to the city, helping farm to market access and all of that. That's going on. Educational development, security, like I mentioned earlier, and infrastructure generally. So all of these things are going on, and they are all designed to improve the living conditions of the people of the state. And if you even look at workers in the state, obviously I can say freely that it's about one of the best in this country, if it's not. Beyond this, the minimum wage that's even higher than the federal government benchmark of 70,000. In Akwa Ibom is 80,000 and so on. And people are paid and they are happy, including extra allowances and the 13 months. If you go into issues of gratuities and backlogs of benefits, about 78 billion has been invested there in about 2 years, and so on, taking care of the retired people. I talked about the elderly people's care that's going on. Most of them that are captured and are still being captured and get 50,000 naira every month to continue to support them. The elderly people's home is being built now, and that will create a center for them to conurbate and continue to expand into the hinterland. So much is happening in this state that's helping the people and helping change the socioeconomic indices and livelihood of the people of Akwa Ibom State. Kudos to His Excellency Governor Umanah. He came prepared. The Arise agenda is an agenda of the people, agenda for the development of Akwa Ibom State, and the people are happy for it.
All right. That's good to hear. We know that President Tinubu recently met with the governor, and he assured your governor of his commitment to Akwa Ibom's progress. We know that Akwa Ibom has always yearned for a deep sea port. Now, I'd like to know what specific areas of collaboration between the federal government and the Akwa Ibom state government that are expected to be prioritized based on the president's assurance.
Yes, thank you so much. Truly, His Excellency the Governor, with the Senate President and the two senators from Akwa Ibom recently met with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. And of course, you've talked about the issue of the Ibom Deep Sea Port. It's a project that is very at the top echelon of things in Akwa Ibom. So Akwa Ibom people need this project more than anything else. It is the deepest water draft in this country. It's the deepest water draft for the best of any deep sea port that can be considered in any part of Nigeria. Studies have shown that, and the country knows that. Everybody knows that. So that's why we, as a state, we are particular and very interested in this project, and we need the collaboration. So His Excellency, the Governor, is sparing nothing, working with His Excellency, the Senate President, and all our leaders to ensure that this project sees the light of the day. So the discussions are on, and at appropriate time, areas of collaborations will be made public. But for now, I think the spanner works is on to ensure that things work. The blue economy is big here. The maritime economy that we need, the marine economy here is something that can enable this state and also support this country. We have the longest coastline in this country of 129 kilometers of longest coastline in the entirety of West Africa in one single state. Of course, and 7,018 square kilometers of a state with 7.9 people with that kind of draft. And of course, with the current efforts at maritime infrastructure development by the governor of Akwa Ibom State under the RISE agenda. So if you come to the Oron corridor, you will see the investment that is already going on in developing maritime infrastructure and supporting the growth of that ecosystem, including investment in building ferries and ships, the ones being done for the state by the Nigerian Navy to open up that flank. So it's one huge economy in the Gulf of Guinea that is waiting to unfold for Nigeria, and it's something that the country needs to support and do in a hurry.
All right, that's very well said, and I do acknowledge what many people have been saying in terms of the RISE agenda and the season of happiness in Akwa Ibom State. But there are two things here, and one is also a personal experience. But first, when we say that our RISE agenda has delivered, we know that it is delivering, no doubt, and that it is bringing happiness to a lot of people. But then questions...
It's delivering.
Yes, but
we're just in 2 years, 2 years of the first 4.
Correct, 2 years that is building on the last 8 of the same, of the same party until you move to another party. But that's a different story. So I'm saying that the season of happiness, how does it touch the more than 50% of youth unemployment in Akwa Ibom State? When you pump money into projects and to different areas, how do you track the fact that people are being engaged in terms of job creation? How does this state of happiness address the more than 40% poverty rate in Akwa Ibom State? I was in Akwa Ibom in Uyo a few months ago for a conference, and Friday was part of the days that I was there. I look forward to the happy hour that the governor campaigned with. I didn't see anything that, that could draw me into the happy hour thing. And I do not say this loosely. I thought that the whole idea of the happy hour will be a connect, that there will be a connect and a driver to the larger entertainment, night economy, tourism, kind of vibration that I was hoping to get. Yes, the city was fun, but I didn't see the happy hour that the governor promised. Also, maybe you can just quickly add that to that. Is it true that there is illegal mining going on in some parts of Eket, has been alleged in some quarters? I just want your clarification on that, in addition to the season of happiness. Yeah,
thank you so much, Steve. I think the happy hour is on, and the people are happy. You were in New York, Steve. I'm aware for the NIPR week and conference, and I'm not too sure you had time to move around because Uyo, it's a bubbling city. On Friday nights, like you said, there are very beautiful places to be in Akwa Ibom State. But coming away from that, I need to say here that His Excellency Governor Umanah is big on tourism. He's big on tourism, and he's investing heavily in tourism development in Akwa Ibom. Yeah, I remember, Steve, I did say to you that you needed some time, so I would take you to the Arise Resort So you can go and see the wonder of the conversion of the 70 hectares of Gullies of Despair into what will become obviously one of the best resorts in the entirety of West Africa, you know. Coming out with lazy rivers, lakes, floating bars, artificial pools, natural pools, internal train rides for children, sporting areas, including guest apartments, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 15 number, 2-bedroom, 5 number, 3-bedroom, and then the villas that are coming up, conference centers, 9-hole golf course, all in this heart of Uyo, in the city center. You need to see that. Life is going on here. People are happy. When you talk about tourism, the whole tourism ecosystem is being developed. The 5,000 capacity convention center right now is being developed again at the Tropicana complex, including the 200-bed Ibom hotels within that Tropicana center, and the rehabilitation of the Ibom hotels, and golf resort, the one that you know, the big one that is in the town, that is currently being rehabilitated, being supported by 4 Point by Sheraton and all of that. So the tourism ecosystem is being given impetus by the administration of His Excellency Governor Umanah. Don't forget, he's a tourism practitioner himself, who has also been in hospitality and oil and gas, so he completely knows all of that. So the Arise Resort is coming up heavy and making a bold statement in Nigeria today. So it's something that we really need to open up to Nigeria. We'll be opening soon. We'll be unveiling that very soon. But happiness goes on. People are happy. When they talk about 50% of unemployment, I don't understand where that is coming from again. And I still have to push such statistics to question because it is not here. Youth unemployment you're talking about, yes, there could be youth unemployment everywhere in the country, but youths are empowered in Akwa Ibom. There's so many youth programs going on. Last week, the government just finished hosting the Arise Youth Digital Youth Week program, where we had talent hunts, and so many young people came up displaying their capabilities and talents and creative ideas. And they were also enabled with various sums of money and startups to support them. There's a youth procurement employment portal, which I remember I did show to Kachi the other time I was in the studios in Lagos. And so that employment portal is there, and we're harvesting from there. Government has announced 3,000 openings now for employment of people in the professional and core service areas. And then you have the procurement portal for youths who have capabilities. And right now, there are over 500 jobs waiting for young startup companies in Akwa Ibom to go and bid. You don't need to know anybody to get access to some of these programs and projects, from building to painting to all sorts of projects that are available within the project and infrastructure ecosystem for our people. So we have so much going on in agriculture. There's grants going on. I talked about the 2 billion grant that has been shared out. There is the 2 billion grant to farmers, and then of course we have the farmers grant, you have the traders on 2 billion too, ongoing. Then the MSME fund within the local government. Some of the MSMEs in the local government get up to 5 million naira in support. And the way it's done is not as if you just throw 5 million. It's done by way of equipment, and then they catch support, and then they follow through to ensure that this investment is actually made, and then they're meeting the purpose for which they are set up to do. These are all great achievements to help our youth. To help our youths.
Fantastic. I wanted to follow up on Steve's question right there. He had asked about illegal mining. If there's some reports about illegal mining going on in Akwa Ibom State. And also just to follow up on that, in regards to Akwa Ibom State being, rich in natural resources, how is the state leveraging on these resources? We only have a few minutes to wrap really quickly, less than a minute.
Yeah, and the state is really doing a lot in setting the groundworks for these natural resources to be harnessed for the benefit of the state and the country. So much is going on. Illegal mining, yes. When there are reports of illegal mining, the government and the security agencies move in. There are pockets of reports here and there. When you hear such things, the security agencies move on to ensure that that is checked. We've had such stories, and that is being put in check. obviously. And then, of course, illegalities that people may want to perpetrate. That's why you have the security system, and that's why the administration is also big on security, following through all of those things to ensure that this state is safe and to ensure that nothing illegal happens here, to the best of the ability of government surveillance system.
I have to say, I feel like at this point, I need to pay a visit to Akwa Ibom at this point. It sounds too juicy, but just before we let you go, I just wanted to ask about, I know there's a lot of oil projects going on, and I know there's the annual operating expenditure, about 3% that's supposed to go to host communities. Just to clarify, are these host communities getting these funds that they're supposed to get at this time?
Yes, there's a host community fund structure within the PIA, and of course you have the host communities fund committee, the way it's set up by law. So within the framework of that law, and I think it has processes. It is not the state government that pays that money. It is within the PIA structure, and that structure is existing. And in the host communities that it affects, the communities are also involved in it, and they are following through their processes to get what they ought to get. And I know as long as they follow the due process, they will get what they ought to get, because that is by law.
All right. Well, all right.
I believe they are. I believe they are.
Fantastic.
They are getting it. They are getting it.
Fantastic.
Except where the processes are not complete. But again, like I said, that is the Petroleum Industry Act issue. It situates there and situates there properly.
All right. Fantastic.
The role of the state now is to ensure that there's no conflict and there's no infighting.
All right. Fantastic. I'll give you the floor again. If you'd like to respond to the question we asked about reports of illegal mining in your state, really quickly as we wrap.
No, I did answer that. I did say that, of course, there are some reports that came to the attention of government, and security had moved in to ensure that nothing of such occurs in this state. His Excellency, the governor, has a separate ministry in charge of internal security, and those things are attended to. Any infraction in this state is taken care of. Right now, a security and command center is being developed, best of its kind. It will be unveiled very soon to the complete monitoring and surveillance of the state. That is going on right now. Right. Still part of the Arise agenda. That is the S in the Arise agenda.
All right.
And that is how Governor Umanah is pursuing the development of Akwa Ibom State in the last 25 months that he's been in the saddle as governor of Akwa Ibom State.
All right. Well done to your governor, Pastor Umanah. On that note, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show this morning.